Happy Monday, apprentices and followers. Sorry I did not get to this Sunday setups on Sunday. I had a very long day yesterday uh, doing a lot of personal stuff. I was not able to break away to get these done, and I apologize for that. So I'm getting the Sunday setups done here early Monday morning and getting this out to you guys. I did have to take a considerable, manageable loss on a trade that carry over from last week, but we're still way ahead of our 1% a week goal in the Journeyman channel, and I have the rest of the week to make that up. And you never know, maybe we'll end the week even, which wouldn't be a bad thing. Okay, guys, let's jump right into the charts. Let's get things moving. And again, I apologize of getting this out Monday morning as opposed to Sunday. But let's jump right on over. We're in TradingView charts. If this is the first time you're watching this, I use my charting on TradingView and then I execute my trades on MT4. Just a quick snapshot of what's going on. All right, let's start from top down. Okay, so you can see we had a small trade last week on this pair. We were targeting this. Let's jump up to the daily. Sorry, guys. It's still on my midweek review. So we were targeting this area right here for some resistance. Looks like we blew through that with no problem. Looks like the Australian dollar is gaining some steam, people. But we are in an area of resistance right now. And, I'm glad I'm doing this Monday because, we were kind of short biased. Let me get rid of this old trade that keeps popping up. So I like a little bit more stretch, and then I'd love trading back down to this 200 period moving average or last week's pivot. But I think we might even get a push as high as that R2. So I'm not going to be a real big seller until we get into this zone and or we see a push up to that R2. So we got a little bit of time here on this, guys. I don't like being only bearish all the way down there. I might see if we get back down into this range, these calculated S2s in this former pivot, might see what's going on there. Let's just get out of that piece of crap paper trade. So there's Australian dollar, Swiss franc. I'm going to turn this orange because all these Australian dollar pairs look like they're just flying off the handle. So on this kind of aggressive move, I'm going to want to see what happens at this missed pivot level up here. And then, I'm not going to be a buyer until we see what happens at that former pivot. We got some wonky things going on here, right? Okay, Australian dollar, Japanese yen. We already have our bearish zone up here at this pivot. Looks like price is doing a little thing. We don't quite have that bullish move like we have on the other Australia pairs. So I think we're still bullish. I wouldn't necessarily be bearish until we see what happens up at this level. So it's not a bad buy. There's no reason to not be buying this pair with what it's showing. Now, if we drop down to a smaller time frame, we could see there was a winning long trade. On the hourly, we're hitting R2. It's a little early in the week, so you may get this bearish move back down to this pivot right on this this trend line, and that would be a great place to go bullish. But like right now, you're at the top RSI and the hourly. I think you're going to get a push to there, and then that would be where we want to get bullish. Little snapshot on a smaller time frame, guys. Okay, now I'm going to turn this orange. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Okay, so we pushed through our bearish zone that we had. But we're right at that former, I like it right where we're at. So I'm going to turn this one red. And guys, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar is kind of a rare breed pair. Um, you know, it's very active in the Sydney, obviously. And, it's kind of shielded from some of the other economic kicks to the balls, even though it's two different countries, but they kind of they're very correlated with every other pair. So it's kind of fun to trade this pair because you have two of the most correlated pairs when they're against any other pair fighting against each other. So I kind of like this one where we're sitting. I need to do a little bit more research on what this push is with the Australian dollar. And then we'll start to look and form some deeper opinions. Again, Australian dollar, U.S. dollar, we're right in our bearish zone now, but we've broke this double top that we were looking for, but we're not quite out of that zone yet. So I'm gonna kind of see if we get a push up to this pivot level. Kind of did that back asswards before I get too crazy. Or even see where we land on that 200 period moving average. This is an obvious target because we had such a deep bearish move. Obvious target would get back to happy zone, much as this 200 period moving average. It might stay bearish, but overall, this pair is still bearish until you cross over that 200 period moving average. CAD Swiss franc. Looks like price is trying to make a bullish run. It's currently sitting above last week's pivot. R2's way up here. So, is it going to stay in this range that we are targeting? I'm going to give myself a little more room, see what price does up there before I really commit. CAD JPY. The range is tightening a little bit. Looks like we broke this trend line that we had here, and it's retested. So because of that, I think we're going to get downside from where we're at, and I'll look to buy from this bottom zone here. And that would be an obvious target. Swiss franc JPY. Look, we're flirting with this bullish zone we have. Let's get rid of that little doohickey. But this might be the break, right? We're right where it's going to decide bullish or bearish, right? Actually, I'm going to go to the very end of that wick. If we get a push down here, test that wick, and I see on a much smaller time frame, it's most likely going to try to trick you out, guys. So these are the types you got to be sitting on your hands. Start understanding that we had a very strong resistance here. We've already broke that. This bearish candle move that we're on now. Now I'm going to target the end of this wick because that's an obvious stronghold. And we could get bearish, or if we could get bullish. If we get a really strong bearish push through it, then my next target is this S2 level. What is price going to do there? I actually am just going to make a prediction. We're probably going to get to that midweek. And then I'll look bullish off of that calculated support level. Euro AUD, been quite a subject. We blew through this last week. So I think we're going to this 200 period moving average. And that's what we want to see. If we get a blow through this level, this S2 is an obvious target. And guys, it's not a bad sell trade. If you guys are trend followers, I mean, that's 400 pips if this comes to fruition this week. And you never know. turning this orange. Euros, Swiss franc. Price didn't quite trigger our alert down here, which I'm just going to get rid of now. But now we have this strong. I'm not going to get bearish. I wonder why I had bearish there. I think I was planning on it coming retesting. But what a bad idea that was, wasn't it, guys? All right. I think we're going to make a run for last week's pivot. And man, we just didn't quite get down to that S2. But if you got in this trade, you're winning. You're winning now. This is the British pound Swiss francs, the one that I had to take the small loss on, and we'll get to that pair here. We got some good Knoxville divergence right here that was telling us we got some good production off of it. And then a little bit break lower, just to trick all of you breakout traders. And then now where I think obvious move is to that pivot. Have to look at a smaller time frame to confirm. Okay, so Euro British pound, you can see we got long in our prediction last week. I don't think it's that bad of a play still. I don't. I think I mean the Euro's getting beat up a little bit right now, so this one's still viable in my book. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one red just so I can watch it. Euro JPY. I like where we have our bullish zone. You can see if we took that trade last on the end of last week as it dipped into there, we'd be sitting pretty good still, as this candle is showing bullish off of that. I like that as our target if you're in this long trade. But I would be we're in this downward trend, so I'd be moving my stop to break even if I was in this. And where it's sitting right now, guys, is we may get another test of this zone. If it comes down and bottoms out again, it'd be a really good place to plant a buy trade. Look at smaller time frames for that rejection. I'm going to turn this one orange. Euro NZD, kind of like the Euro British pound pair. We're sitting into this bullish zone. We've rejected it 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on our 5th rejection, guys. So I could get the starting this really small, but we have this missed pivot up here, which I like as a breakout if we could catch this. This one's red. This one is ready, right now. So right after I'm done filming, I'll do some more research, and I might be taking a buy trade there. Who knows? Euro US dollar, we got a rejection in our bullish area. Now we want to see if we break this little mini trend line. I like this missed pivot right there, the 200 period moving average. But we're asking a lot of the euro to get stronger on some of these trades, which we're not seeing it. Had really good production off of this daily Knoxville divergence move for some of you longer term traders. Okay, I'm going to turn this one orange. Euro CAD. We've already touched the pivot, and you see we've marked that as our bearish zone. It would have been a good trade if we got into it. Like I said, guys, I got caught in a little bit of drawdown end of week last week that took most of my focus. And, I set a stop loss last night as it was moving against me. It triggered, and then in true trader fashion, hit the stop loss and then pretty much stopped right there. But I am out of that trade with a little bit of a kick. And now I have opened my mind up for new trades. All right, I got my bullish all the way down there S2. I'm going to move it to this 200 period moving average. I just don't see any solid trade here. Um, the, it's touched its pivot, which usually tells me it got permission. And now I want to see if we get down to this 200 period moving average, if we get that bump. Okay, British pound AUD. So if we look at this long trend line, okay, we've broken it, and that is on that strength. Now I'm going to target this S2, which might just turn out to be the 200 period moving average, and see if we can't get a bounce there. A good play off of this bounce, if we do get a bounce, is a retest of this trend line. And then that would be a great place to get bearish. Get rid of that little. So if we get a retest of this trend line off of this S2, it's a great buy. I would get out as you get close to this trend line and then start to look to get bearish. I'm going to turn that one red because I want to catch this S2 level. Okay, British pound CAD. So it's touched the pivot and now it's looking bullish off that pivot. I would look bullish until this resistance level and then look to see if there's any signs that we're going to go bearish. Orange. All right, good old British pound Swiss franc. Okay, I have my alert level for bearish all the way up here. I got hook snared last week, guys. This strong bullish move, when I saw it breaking, it was a smaller time frame level. This green is where I entered and almost went instantly against me. And then I've flirted with some rollover trades that haven't gone well. And on this big bearish drop, I was not in a rollover trade and missed it. Actually, I think I entered on that. And then last week, it just kicked me in the balls. And ultimately, I closed my rollover trade. And now, now we're at the top of up here where I'm thinking bearish again. I might put in another rollover trade, but might give this pair a little bit of time after kicking me in the balls. All right, so now we have a bunch of mess on here. I don't necessarily think I am bearish still where I'm at. I want to see if price gets all the way up to there. Could get rid of that alert. Now that it's touched its pivot, guys, you got to push up, came back, touched it. It gives price permission to go. Ooh, found one of our old. There we go. So I actually like it up that 200 period moving average. Might be a really good profit target off a buy right here, which might be something I think about taking. Let's go red on this one. Okay, British pound NZD. We're kind of in the middle of our support resistance. That's the 200 period moving average. It did come up, hit the pivot. Now we're kind of resting right in this resistance. So there's really no trade unless you get a big breakout of that. You could trade short down to this level. Or if we get a strong rejection here, you could trade long up to this level. Let's just go ahead and put our arrows. So if we get a breakout above those, and I'd say if we're right about here. So kind of a tight little monster there. All right. So let's get rid of that. We won this trade. So this was a trade that closed overnight last night. We had our take profit down here, and obviously it got there. So we did win a 1% winner, but I gave it back with that British pound trade. I like this where we're sitting right now, guys. I like this. It's hovering by the pivot, but I think it's gonna make an attempt up to this 200 period moving average from where it's sitting right now. I want to get bearish until we see what happens there. But I like it right now, bullish, at least up there or the top, this forward top. I'm going to turn that one red. All right, NZD CAD. So we're flirting with our bearish area. You can see we almost perfectly rejected right off that 200 period moving average already. And we are still at a smaller uptrend. So it's really not a good trade unless you caught that rejection perfectly. But now I'm going to see what it does at this trend line. If we get a break of it, I like this trade down to this support level. NZD Swiss franc, kind of the same thing, guys. There's really no obvious. There's no obvious. We were playing off this tight zone last week. Let me get rid of some of these. We're right at a former S2, so is this going to be resistance? It looks like it's respecting it for the most part right now, but it would take a lot. Let's go down to a smaller time frame. We do have Knoxville divergence. It's flattening out. We did shoot past R2 on a smaller time frame, so you might catch that at the top, and that's not a bad trade, guys. If you catch it, and I mean that's 30 pips, not a bad trade. NZD JPY, you can see this one's just a little ahead of the last one, right? Shot past R2, showed Knoxville divergence. If you entered here and you played back to R2, would have been a good little 30 pipper, and you would be out of that trade already. So not a bad play. Let's go to the daily and see what we got long term. So we have a trend line break. We have a retest. Okay, back to the pivot, and now we're just in this Humpty Dumpty land. So there's really no long term. USD NZD, or NZD USD. So I'm waiting for a push up to this level. We didn't quite get it. Still orange. USD CAD. Lots of mess on here. So downtrend, busted through, retest, got higher, got into our bearish zone here. And then we started to see this smaller time frame uptrend, and we busted through. So this late last week I called this bust through, and it worked, but now it hasn't really broke that pivot level. So right now on a daily, I'm gonna wait. If it busts through below this last week's pivot, I like this as a bullish area. I like this as a bearish area. So we're in no man's land for now. USD Swiss franc, you can see prices respect to this 200 period moving average quite nicely. So we could see, if you take it from that top, we could see a little drop from there to our bullish zone and look for a buy trade here. If we get a solid breakthrough, it could be a really small trade up to this top. USD JPY, you can see we're starting to form a really good support. That's last week's pivot. So I like a buy from here, but we may just wait till it stretches just past it. Wait till it almost confirms that you're wrong, and then plant that seed. All right, guys. Well, like I said in the beginning, I'm sorry I'm getting this out a day late. We missed some of the moves last night, but like I said, I'm human and I had a lot of personal stuff to get done yesterday. Most of which I hoped to gotten done this video done early in the morning, but we got an early start on it and I couldn't break away. So, day late, and I got a little bit catching up to do on my Journeyman channel. So I will see you guys in the midweek review. And if you got any questions or comments, throw them in the comment section below. I love hearing from you guys. If you want to see if and when I take these trades on my own live accounts, jump into my Telegram channels. The links right here, or go visit allenfx.com. There's some links right in there, and then you would get my weekly newsletter, and as well any other services I'm working on, like these training courses. You're going to be the first ones invited to join those. All right, guys, have a great week, and as always, let's go make some money together.